Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Okay, we're going to start off with our hook. We've got the bead on the hook, but before I go with that, with these slotted beads, it's important to understand how they go on the hook. So this is a barbless hook, so most of these beads will go over that, no problem. So just like any other bead, you want to take the small hole, so not the slotted end, and then slide your bead into that. So the non-slotted hole goes on first. Then as you slide the bead up, you'll notice that the slot will either sit on the top or the bottom. So here it's on the top. You can see where the slot is. Now that's not going to go over the bead because it has to fit around that elbow. So what we need to do is turn that so the slot is on the bottom, and then it will fit just like that. So that's the way it's going to go on. And then we'll just seat that in the vise. Okay, now this is a really simple pattern. The reason it was that I was messing around with this was just I needed some flies, a bunch of them real quick, the night before a trip, and just kind of working with what I knew was in the water. And so these are going to be two-tone flies. I've used them in different colors, different variations, but they're always going to have two tones. So I'm going to start off with my 70 Denier Danvilles. Good stuff. And you can add extra weight to these if you want, up into right behind the slotted bead, but it just depends on what you want to do. And the reason I do it this way, again, these are very simple patterns. They're meant to be tied in high quantity, so you don't need to put in a tail, and I'm not going to do wing cases and wings. This is more of just a quick and dirty, easy fly. But I do like to rib it, gives it some additional color, so I'm going to take my Krystal flash and just tie that on right at the butt, right to the bend of the hook. And then we're really only going to deal with two additional materials. So what I've got here is my Hare'e stub dispenser. This is great stuff. It's a good mixture of hair, rabbit, hare's mask, and then eye stub. So it's like the best of both worlds. So I like this dispenser because it's got all the nice colors that I like. And so with this specific one, we're going to do a black body and then a rusty orange thorax, or hotspot, if you will. And you can throw these in a dubbing loop if you want, but I'm just going to grab a little bit and just kind of dub this on. Because it's hare's ear, this will actually dub on quite nicely, unlike a lot of the synthetics that you see, as long as you twist this in one direction. And I like to put it on there so it's a little bit tapered. And then I'm going to slide that up. And this is going to be a tapered body. And so we're just going to go up and create that body and taper it as we go. Okay, so I'm going to build the body in that nice little carrot tapered shape. And I'll bring my thread back to just about one bead width from the bead itself. Make sure it's set down there on the eye of the hook. And we can actually add just a little bit more dubbing. There we go. So just to get about a bead's worth in between there. And then I'm just going to grab my Krystal flash and just rib a nice little even segmentation up the whole length of the body. And then I'm just going to stop there. Beware the rattle bass. Okay, and now I'm going to grab some of that rusty orange, And just do the same thing. Now, because we're going to finish with the orange, you could build up your thorax, or you could use an orange thread if you wanted. Ooh, not even close to being enough there. And you're going to need a little bit more dubbing than you might think here, because we're going to jam down into that bead as we get closer to it. Even though it's slotted and it sits there on the hook, still can move around. So this dubbing is just going to lock it in there. So just like that. And kind of check that to make sure the bead's not going to move too much. And now we're just going to whip finish. So it's a pretty simple fly here. And then the only thing left to do is to grab our handy dandy Stomfo comb / brush, and very lightly, with the crystal flash in there, you don't want to be jamming this like it was a big streamer. You kind of give it a little light treatment. But we're going to just very gently brush out some of these fibers, and this will give the fly a little more water holding ability. And when it's wet, it kind of has that translucency. It's pretty awesome. So just like that. And that's it. Very simple fly. You can nymph this. I fish it a lot in still water, and it catches fish. And just again, vary the color variations. I usually go a darker color on the body and a lighter color on the thorax, but it's really up to you.